Good evening, sir. My name is Joshika. Today's first article is on an airtight case. Further clarity emerges on the GEMs and Pakistan's role in the Pulwama attack. So, the clarity will come through the GEMs and Pakistan's role. What is the role they are playing in Pulwama attack? So, let's start today's first article. A year and a half after the dastardly terror attack on a Central Reserve police force convoy in Pulwama that killed 40 personnel, the National Investigation Agency has filed a charge sheet against 19 people, including Maulana Masood Azhar, the leader of the terrorist group Jaish-e-Mohammed, for planning the attack. So, a year and a half after the evil or iniquitous or wicked and cruel terror attack on the Central Reserve Police Force convoy, means escort or company in Pulwama, that have killed 40 personnel. The National Investigation Agency has filed a charge sheet against 19 people, including Maulana Masood Azhar, the leader of terrorist group Jaish-e-Mohammed, for planning the attack. Considering the difficulties of piecing together the minutiae in the case, the agency's painstaking effort must be acknowledged. So, considering the difficulties in the piecing together, the minutiae means small or precise tribal details of something specifying. In this case, the agency's painstaking means done with great care or carefulness. Effort must be acknowledged means be gurtimpu means we have to get a representation. The identity of the key perpetrators was never in doubt after the GM claimed responsibility immediately after the attack in February 2019. So, the identity of the key one who carries a harmful or illegal act was never in doubt after the GEM claimed responsibility immediately after the attack in February 2019. The charge sheet details the role of the GEMS handlers and its local associates in Kashmir and how the attack was in the works since 2019. So, the charge sheets detail and the role of GM's handlers and its local associate in Kashmir and how these attacks were going on since 2016 was investigated. The GEM's role was in reconnaissance, means a survey, training, and indoctrination, but the group could not have procured and transported the high intensity explosives without the involvement of the Pakistani security establishment. The GM's role was in survey or exploration and training and indoctrination, but the group did not procure, means acquire and transport the high intensity explosives without the involvement of Pakistani security establishment. The charge sheet's investigation based on the forensic evidence, DNA analysis of the remains of the suicide bomber, IP address tracking of the video released by the GEM claiming responsibility, examination of the battered vehicle that carried the explosives, among others, therefore makes a thorough claim on GEM's and Pakistan's role in the attack. So, the charge sheet investigation based on the forensic evidences and the DNA analysis of the remaining suicide bombers, IP addresses tracking on the video released by the GEM claims, and it has a responsibility, and the examination of battered vehicle which is carried by the explosives, among others, have to have a thorough claim on GM's and Pakistan's role in Pulwama attack. The Pulwama attack was followed by the bombing of a terror training center in Balakot in Pakistan by the Indian Air Force and retaliatory air strikes by Pakistan. So the Pulwama attack was followed by, means after Pulwama attack, the bombing of a was done by the terror training center in Balkot in Pakistan by the Indian Air Force and retaliatory desire for revenge air strikes by Pakistan. These have resulted in a breakdown of diplomatic ties and deterioration of every aspect of relations between the countries. So these have resulted in the breakdown of diplomatic and deteriorations of every aspect of relations between the countries. But the Pulwama investigation could present an opportunity for the Pakistan to initiate meaningful changes in its approach towards cross-border terror. If needed, the Imran Khan-led government is keen on reforming its deep state. So after the Pulwama investigation, it has presented an opportunity for the Pakistan. It gave the opportunity to Pakistan to change its approach towards the cross-border terrorists. And indeed, Imran Khan-led government too keen on reforming the deep state, means forming again the deep state. For the Indian government, the charge sheet presents a case not just for detailing the role of Pakistan and its proxy actors in Kashmir, but to re-evaluate its strategy, the involvement of local Kashmiri youth in attack to a suicide bomber years after militancy have warned in the valley was also a warning about the alienation setting into the valley. So for the Indian government, the charge sheet which is present in this case were having the details, not having the just the details about the role of Pakistan in the acting of Kashmir, but also it reevaluates its strategy. And the involvement of local Kashmiri youth in attack is as a suicide bomber years after militancy have warned, means disappearing in the valley, and also warning about the alienation setting in the valley. The hollowing out of Jammu and Kashmir's special status, the bifurcation of the state, and the demotion of Jammu and Kashmir as a union territory, the detention of scores of political leaders, including mainstream actors, and the continuing restrictions on access to broadband internet have deepened the alienation. So, the hollowing out of Jammu and Kashmir special stated the bifurcation, means division of the state, and the demotion of Jammu and Kashmir as a union territory. The detention means the act of detaining someone, or the state of being detained in official custody, means the punishment of being kept in something. So there is a detention of scores of the detention of political leaders, including mainstream actors, and the continuing restriction on access of broadband internet have been deepened in the alienation. The prevention of terror attacks will entail not only security and diplomatic measures to isolate and destroy terror outfits such as the GEM, but also addressing the roots of alienation and recruit to the cause of terrorism. So the prevention of terrorism attacks with entail, means involve as a necessary or inevitable part of consequence, is known as entail. So the prevention of terror attacks with involving the necessary consequences not only about the terror outfits, but also about the diplomatic measures to isolate and destroy these outfits such as GEM, but also addressing the roots of alienation that contribute recruits in the cause of terrorism. Thank you. And this first article is about the role played by the Pakistans and GMs in the Pulwama attack, and uh, what are the charged file on these people against them. Thank you.